Hello everyone, welcome to Data Science Simple. My name is Sebastian. Today we will be talking about strings and numbers. But before we do that, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and visit datasciencesimple.com. Alright, let's get started.
Okay, so we're going to start with the most popular line of code, which is Hello World. In Python, you print to screen things using the print function, which is this one right here. And in our case, we're going to print Hello World. What I want you to notice is that the sentence Hello World is in between quote marks. This is going to tell Python that everything in between them is going to be a string. So let's take a look what happens when we run this cell of code. We get Hello World. Now, one cool thing about strings is that you can pick a single element in the string. For example, let's say that your string is I bought a new car, and we're going to save that string into a variable called newString. When we print it to screen, well, we get exactly that, I bought a new car. So now let's say that you want to pick the letter I and the letter B. Now, in Python, each character in the string is assigned to a number. The first character gets the number 0, not 1. Therefore, if I is equal to 0, B will be element number 2. So, in order to access those elements, you do new string, open, close, square bracket, 0, and new string, open, close, bracket, square brackets, and inside you put 2. When we run this cell, we get I and B. Now, let's say that you want to access the last element in this string. Well, the R in this case is in position 17. So clearly you can do new string, open, close, brackets, square brackets, 17, and that will give you R. But a shortcut is to do -1 instead. The idea is that if I is 0, -1, it takes you back to R. So let's see what happens when we run this cell. Exactly what we wanted, R and R. Alright, but what happens if instead of picking one character, you want to pick maybe 3, 4, 5? How would you divide your string into 2 strings, for example? Well, very easy. Let's say that we want to divide our string into 2, and we want to get I bought. This will be our first string, and our second string will be a new car. That can be done easily by put the name of the variable where your string is, open, close, square brackets, and then put the initial character, column, final character. So in this case, we're going to go from character number 0 to number 9, not including 9. And then for our second string, it will be starting from character 9 to character 18. Let's run these 2 lines of code. And we get I bought as our first string and a new car as our second string. Alright, now let's imagine that you have 2 different strings and you want to concatenate them. You want them to put those 2 strings together. That can be done easily in Python using the plus operator. Let's take a look. Let's say that you have 3 strings. One is an action, that is I bought, and then you have thing 1 and thing 2, that being a new TV and a new bike. You can concatenate those strings by doing sentence 1 equal to action plus thing 1, and our sentence number 2 can be constructed by doing action plus thing2. When we run these lines of code, we get I bought a new TV and I bought a new bike. Alright, so the final thing I want to show you concerning strings is how to count the number of elements in the string. This can be easily done using the function len. Let's take a look. So here what we have is, we're printing to screen, but really what we're printing to screen is len of sentence 1. In our case, sentence 1 is I bought a new TV. When we run this line of code, we get 17, meaning that our sentence has 17 characters. Alright, so now let's move to numbers. We're gonna cover the very basics. So in Python, if you want to add, subtract, divide or multiply two numbers, you use the plus, minus, forward slash and star symbol. And it works as I'm showing you here in these lines of code. So 1 plus 2, that should be 3, 3 minus 2 should be 1, 6 divided by 3 should be 2, and 5 times 5 should be 25. So let's run this. Exactly what we expected. Now, if you want to elevate a number to the power of other, you can do it by two different ways. The first one, you do first number, in this case 10 star star 5. This is 10 to the power of 5. Or you can use the function POW or POW. The first element that you pass is will be the number, and the second the number that you're going to elevate to. So in this case 10 to the power of 5. So if we run this cell, we get 100,000 in both cases. Alright, so we are at the end of the notebook, and the last thing I want to talk to you about is how to transform a string into a number and a number into a string. So let's imagine that we have a string here and we have the number 1, but it's a string, not a number. So if we add them together, if we do a string plus a string, we should get the string 11. But if instead of doing that, we use the int function and we do int a string plus int a string, what's going to happen is that this is going to be a number and this is going to become the number 1. So when we add them together, we should get the number 2. So let's see what happens when we run these lines of code. We get the string 11 and the number 2. Now, in the same way, let's say that we have a number, in this case number 7. When you add the number with itself, you should get the number 14. But now, if you use the function string first on it, so if you do str a number plus str a number, now you are going to be adding two strings with the character 7. So you should get the string 77. Let's take a look of what happens when we run this line of code. We get 14, the number 14, and the string 77.
Alright, there you have it. I hope you like this video and I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.